make it a habit to learn stuff you're not good at. I think once, like, cheesy quote, but once you get outside your comfort zone, that's when you really grow. It's static and you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're not growing. That's why you're not growing, is like you're not challenging yourself. You're not falling on your face enough. If you're not in mental anguish, you're not trying hard enough, essentially.
Welcome back to the Days In podcast, episode 17. We have Brandon Ward here, the CEO of Growtoro. So from flipping products in high school all the way to being the CEO today, we are here to see exactly how he did it, what he's doing, the challenges that he's brought along the way. And here we are. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so really, I just want to start. So flipping products in high school, what was that like? What was that time like for you? And how did it shape what you do today?
Yeah, I mean, it was the ultimate side hustle. I would go to yard sales and scour Craigslist, and just go to the free section, go to people's houses and pick stuff up and then literally just flip it. And honestly, like, if someone's looking to get started with a business today, they have no idea what to do. They don't want to put any expense in. They want to put low risk, put their time and sweat equity in. Guaranteed arbitrage way to make money. So it was awesome because it like opened up my eyes to the world of entrepreneurialism and being able to kind of make your own money. And the more you put in, the more you get out. So just a fun start.
Absolutely. And so what came after that? So from high school flipping products, what was your first taste of like real entrepreneurial experience?
Yeah, so went to college, which if I could do that again, I probably would not go to college with the internet today being what it is. And, so right after college, I got a job as an advertising sales employee. And it was great. Worked there for 9 months, top salesperson on my team, hitting quota every month. But I had that itch. I was like, I'm young. I could take some risk. I hate coming to the office. It's just boring. Why not try something out? So first ever business, I like, and advice too is like, if you don't know where to start, just like write your passions down. My passions is sports, love sports so much. So like I was like, how can I like make a business out of sports? And my first ever business was a sports league. So, you graduate from high school, college. I was a big athlete in high school. You still have the itch to play, but you don't know where to play, and pickup's not as fun. So I literally started this football league in Long Island. It's called Long Island Legends, and grew it to be the largest league in the whole tri-state area. We had like over 250 teams. 20 locations, thousands and thousands of players. It took years to get to that point, but that was my first ever real business. Ran it for about 6 years and then sold it. Still to this day, after all the stuff I've done after, probably still my favorite business because it was so much fun. I learned everything I know now from that. It was the ultimate way to kind of just dive in. I bootstrapped it. I spent about $300 on startup expenses, which were a website and signs. I used to literally drive around Long Island at like midnight, banging up signs and telephone poles and intersections. Got me a flood of phone calls and went from there.
Man, that's fantastic.
Grassroots marketing, yeah. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's really cool, right? Especially this grassroots marketing, and it really ties in what you do today, right, with Growtoro. But I want to kind of stay there because that's a pretty large business. So 250 teams, thousands of individuals, and so what was that like? And so there's a point where it gets a little harder to scale. Like where, at what point when you were growing that, did you start really hitting those scaling challenges, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I mean that, and I still deal with that with my own business today and other businesses. You hit that inflection point where it's like, oh yeah, we made our first sale, we're making money, but then you just like hit this wall and you kind of plateau out, and you're like, all right, well, like, why aren't I growing? And it goes from like making sales to figuring out operational challenges, paying expenses, becoming profitable. So that probably happened in like year two. We had a great first year. We got a bunch of people and teams. And then we were just like, okay, like we're kind of at capacity. I think it was like the 40, 50 team mark. It was me and a partner, and we just working, nonstop. And so we had to hire out basically. So, that it gets to that point where like, it depends on your business. This was like an in-person physical business. So we just had to hire more labor. We had to get more fields. So I had to get on the phone and call school districts and towns and universities and colleges and private people just to rent their field to have more games on. So it takes a lot of grit and then just that risk. It's like, are you happy at the whatever 5, 10, 15K mark, monthly mark level? Do you want to take a little bit of that risk to try to get to the next level?
Hmm.
I look at businesses in the stages of levels, and you could just mark that by revenue.
Hmm.
So it's like, how do you get your first $1,000 in MRR, and then 3, 5, 10, 15, 25, 50, 100, and so on and so forth. So
Hmm.
yeah, we just hired out, took some risk on, and that's how we were able to kind of get to the next level.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah.
I'm gonna check that out afterwards. And so, moving that into today, like how has that shaped Grotoro? And then how did Grotoro become about?
So between that and Grotoro came about 2 years ago. So there's a 6 year gap between the sale of that and then Grotoro. In between that was probably that was a formative experience. And then I went to kind of the building block stage, the transformational experience, which was I became obsessed in my 20s with like e-commerce. It's the dream. It's like, oh, you could sit in your mom's basement and just sell these products and not have to
Right.
leave, just make all this money. So of course I started with some crappy drop shipping store, which was like the worst store you've ever seen. Lost a few $1,000 on that. I made one sale. And then I was like, all right, I got to kind of re-attack this and do it differently. So I started an Amazon store, which was much better. I literally like just figured out how to go on Alibaba, start hitting up. I would hit up Chinese suppliers like midnight, 1 in the morning, and be like their afternoon. I was like, what the heck should I sell? I figured out like some good cheap products to like buy on Alibaba, import into the US, package, markup, ship them into Amazon, man my own Amazon storefront. And then right away, like day one, I started getting sales. I was so excited, but I wasn't even profitable. I didn't even, wasn't even thinking about, adding all the
Hmm.
shipping expenses, time required, all the stuff, boxes and tapes, all this. So kind of built that up. While I was doing that, I launched a Shopify store at the same time.
Hmm.
And that was awesome. I figured out how to buy products really cheap through my Amazon experience. And then like the way to do e-commerce is you want to build a brand. So
Hmm.
much better than drop shipping, or well, you can build your own brand drop shipping, but the most profitable thing to do is, find really high quality products for cheap, get your logo on them, build a brand no one's ever seen before, and then kind of, introduce that to the world. So that's what I did. And I spent like a few years doing that. And those were awesome businesses. That taught me the world of digital marketing. That's what directly led to Growtoro because I figured out how to run Facebook ads, scrape data, do email marketing, all the stuff I'm doing today for other businesses. I figured out how to do for my own businesses, and I was able to sell those e-commerce businesses, make a nice, net some
Hmm.
money, and then I just went into kind of Growtoro. So it's a good little
Oh,
stepping stone.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that brings us to modern day. With Grotoro, did you always from the start offer what you offer today, or did you have a kind of few core in your lane services and then grow on top?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely way more basic. At its
Hmm.
core, it was still like cold email marketing, data services, but it was a much more primitive version, and like it wasn't really that profitable. I basically started out. I was like my whole core focus was like do whatever's possible to make the customer and the end user satisfied and happy. So I threw in like just all these bonuses and goodies, and I wasn't really that profitable. But it's such a good feeling. You get your first sale, and you do everything in your power to make that person happy. You take like an obsessive customer centric approach, kind of
Hmm.
like what Amazon does. It's like just make the customer happy at all costs, and that's we still have that. We still have those values today in Grotoro, and just like following up with people, reaching out to them, making sure they're happy, going the extra mile to make sure they're satisfied in their campaigns. So it was a much more basic version of what it is today, but still kind of the same themes throughout.
No, that's fantastic. And so
Yeah,
with Grotoro, um, what are some of the things from your past, not only from experience, but even personal experiences, right?
yeah.
How has that one shaped the company you have today, but also shaped that culture?
I think just the ability to relate to people. I think that's
Hmm.
such an important overlooked aspect of business. People are always so focused on like how do I sell someone and make a quick buck off someone? It's not like that. You want to
Hmm.
put yourself in that end user's customer shoes. What are their pain points? What are they looking at you like? What do they want to get out of the relationship? You start backwards from there. So just the ability to like just sit down and have like you're at a bar with a friend just having a conversation. That's something I took about that I was good at in previous, experiences and businesses, and I took that into Grotoro, and it's a purely digital business, so everything's conducted on Zoom calls and Google Meets and Slacks and
Hmm.
emails, and it's hard to infuse like charm and personality and relatability in that medium. I'm a big energy in person kind of guy, so like it took some training and savvy and hard work to kind of
Absolutely.
come across that way digitally. But I think that's some advice I would give to someone is like put yourself in your customer's shoes. What are they experiencing? How would they perceive you? And just
Hmm.
do everything you can to make sure like their experience is top notch. If you do that, you'll grow organically through word of mouth, and that's really what happened with Grotoro. We still get most of our customers from word of mouth, and that's like the best way to grow any business. You do zero ad spend. Just wake up to a new email from someone who worked with someone, and once you get on that call, it's like a done deal because they already have a referral from their friend. So
Right. Right.
do everything to just make people happy.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah,
I I love the roots of how Grotoro was built on. How
yeah,
looking looking back at what you've done through all your businesses, and then looking at the future of what Grotoro not only
yeah.
is but can be, how do you how do you vision that for Grotoro? Is it adding services? Is it honing down on the services that you have now? Is it branching off? Like, what does that look like for Grotoro from now and say like 5 years from now?
So I think a few good question, few ways to go about that. I would say
Mm-hmm.
one, definitely we have to stay in the cutting edge of lead gen. We're a lead gen company.
Mm-hmm.
We started off just doing traditional email marketing. We've since branched off into SMS and cold calling,
Mm-hmm.
and just other platforms. So being on the cutting edge of all these tools, AI is disrupting the lead gen space big
Yeah.
time. I think honestly, like in a year or two, the traditional digital marketing cold email marketing agency will cease to exist. I think it's Anthropic. There's a big
Mm-hmm.
LLM, large language model company that they came out with a new tool. I think it was a few weeks ago where like an AI agent can take over your computer and
Mm-hmm.
run all these tasks for you. So like it could render most agencies completely useless. So how do we combat that? How do we stay in the cutting edge of that? And then one thing I've really tried to focus on this year with Grotoro is it's instead of just trying to go after relationships where maybe it's like a one shot thing. You may get a renewal, you may not. Month to month, I try to work with companies on like a deeper level and embed our systems and our people inside their companies, get equity and commission in their companies, and just become like an invaluable part of their company. So we become so sticky, and we put on a good performance for them, and then we can make money on our performance with the upside, and we don't have to go after a million new clients. I like to call the
Mm-hmm.
term refilling the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
You have typical agencies, they'll do month to month or like a quarterly retainer, and it's hard though to sustain that. Churn's always going to be high, and then you have to go out and find a new company to pay $1,000, $2,000, and it's not easy to do that. So the idea would be like, let's work with less companies, but become their indispensable sales force and take some commission or equity in the company. This way, we can grow with them, and we can become much more valuable as a company. So that's kind of the goal, is to just stay on the cutting edge, to
Mm-hmm.
continue to develop tools, utilize AI, be able to become like the shepherds of AI. I think
Right.
that's a big opportunity. Is like instead of trying to build an AI product,
Mm-hmm.
the AI wars are already won. By the way, like Microsoft, Facebook, Google, OpenAI, like no one's going to be able to compete with them. Now you can still be a startup and make a large language
Mm-hmm.
model, get acquired by them. But I think a better route, which requires no investment and just savvy and hard work, is just learning the tools, learning how to use them, and then
Mm-hmm.
turning around and offering that as a service to a small business. So many small business owners don't even know how to use any AI tools. So if you just become an expert at using them, you could sell that as a service. So
That
that's part of it.
that's actually really good, right? Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people right now are following the buzz, right, of AI.
Uh,
And the kind of it's very much 5 years ago entrepreneurialism, right? It's like the
exactly.
beauty, it's the sexiness, it's the glorification of what it is. And then
Totally.
5 years in, all these gurus got kicked in the teeth and you don't see them anymore. You know,
Exactly.
so
Right.
we're like, oh crap, this is actually freaking hard, right? And I think that's kind of where we're going to go with AI, where it's like everybody's a prompt engineer. Everybody, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
my God, dude. I saw a freaking Business Insider article like a month ago. There's a prompt engineer job paying like 300,000 euros. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
right.
Um, and then like there's a Chrome plugin a week later that does that exact thing. So it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
that job was there
Exactly.
for
It's
sure.
all there. I think, it's funny that we're talking about this, Greg, because almost everybody that we're talking to right now on the podcast, it's very much about, okay, where's your stance with AI? What are you doing with AI? And what does that look like? And
I
all the
know
business
it's
owners that, and the successful
yeah,
ones at that are very much going, it's a business use case, right? We're
100
not doing anything else unless it's about a business use case, right? Because
exactly.
that's ultimately what drives value from an AI perspective is actually building business use cases for AI and then building those custom inside organizations, right? And
100
then that's where the opportunity from an enterprise perspective, in my opinion, is being
exactly.
able to do that at a not only at a large scale but operationally and effectively doing it like in a almost easily managed way, right? Because at the end of the day, like robotic process automation, so RPA, then you have being able to, like you said, being experts in the products, being experts in the LLMs, right? Like you can
100%.
build an LLM, right? But it has to be at this point, it has to be a highly specialized LLM. It cannot be a generalized LLM, right?
Exactly. Very
So,
specialized to a certain use case or vertical, and there's
yes.
opportunity there. I mean,
Exactly.
so,
Exactly right. And so what you're saying is exactly true. But what I love about what you said is that is the opportunity of AI, right? That
exactly.
is the opportunity of somebody that's wanting to jump in to entrepreneur and be able to offer a service that is low cost, low overhead, low visibility, but high value,
That's
right?
exactly.
Is learning all of those and being able to package that in a way that honestly just makes sense to a business and it's good enough that that somebody's actually going to bite on. There's going to be somebody, but that also brings me to the next question. Do you think the way you're thinking and how you envision Grotoro to be is your market differentiator?
In terms of what?
Of Growtoro, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
digital marketing is a majorly competitive space, right? And there is really, I don't know, 40, 50,000 different agencies, right, in the United States. And so
77,000,
you have to be able to differentiate yourself. Do you think
roughly.
that's a differentiator?
Of course. I mean, it has to be, right? I think that, and then just performance. We do a good job. We actually get people leads, and I
Hmm.
think going the extra mile is a big differentiator. I've been on the receiving end of a lot of crappy agency service work myself,
Hmm.
and it's adding the personal touch is it goes such a long way. Honestly, I can't stress
Yeah.
that enough. Just staying up a little later, sending some extra update, just keeping in touch with them, letting them know how everything's going, just doing whatever you can to kind of make them happy goes a long, long way. And then, yeah, just coming up with innovative, clever ways to just help them in any way you can. So, yeah, I think we have to incorporate AI as much as possible.
That's awesome. You mentioned in business that striking out 99 times is really just a part of the process and right and hitting a home run. Um,
That's right.
what are some of the failures that you've encountered, and how do you think that's shaped your mindset today?
I mean, yeah, I've along the way. I mean, I'm still dabbling side hustles. I almost can't help myself. If I get stressed or angry at something, I kind of just go for a walk, and I'm like, all right, well, what's a little side hustle I can try to spin up? So I mean, I've tried a million of those and failed. Just various other e-commerce ideas.
Hmm.
Different. I actually had a probably my biggest failure, but it was so much fun. The mobile app craze of like the between 2000 probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have my own mobile app game studio. Never knew how to code or engineer. I still don't. So I kind of just like threw up a website, found engineers in Ukraine and overseas, and I literally just started making mobile games. And it was so much fun. I didn't make a dollar. I lost a ton of money on it, but it was just a lot of fun, and it that kind of like opened my eyes up a lot to the
Hmm.
importance of design. That I'm like a big design person. I
Hmm.
spent a lot of time on making sure our website looks nice, our collateral looks good. I think design, Steve Jobs, my favorite entrepreneur, design's not just how it looks, it's how something works. And it's
Hmm.
like your first impression for someone. So that was, you have to think of it as like every failure you have is just a learning experience.
Hmm.
So like people sit there and just overthink they'll come up with an idea and then they'll come up with a million ways why they shouldn't do it when like you should just go for it, honestly. You have an idea, relatively low risk, low cost, somewhat feasible. Just dive in and do it. You're probably going to fail, but who cares? Favorite Mark Cuban quote, in the sport of business, you could be wrong 99 times.
Hmm.
You're right in the 100th, you're set for life. And that's all you need. You just need one home run or a few singles or a few doubles. That's it. Not that hard. And it's just all about, doing it over and over and over again and learning along the way. And then eventually, if you keep going and not give up, that's the most important thing, is just like literally never give up. Most people just psych themselves out. They'll kind of stay trapped in their job. They won't start the side hustle, or they'll start it and they won't get sales or website traffic or a good reaction, and they'll just fold. When like the key is to just keep going, just literally go forever. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You'll eventually be successful.
Absolutely. I love that. I know that you play sports and you talk in analogies of sports as well. And so,
Yeah.
is baseball a pretty big part of your life? Is that what you played in college?
Not baseball. I'm a big basketball guy, football
Oh,
guy,
okay.
and now a pickleball guy. I do like baseball, big Yankees fan, but I was like a big
Same.
time basketball and tennis player. Now I'm a pickleball star, so to speak. Star,
Uh,
but local guy. I mean, I play a few times a week. I love it.
oh, that's
Um,
fantastic.
sports
Uh, Disappointed at the World Series?
definitely. I thought it was going to be closer, man, but Dodgers are just too good. Their lineup
Yeah.
is,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
They were kind of, I watched all of them, and Shohei Ohtani just kind of killed it. I think this is like his
Killed
year.
it. Well, Garrett Cole, they had that game. I think it was game six. They had the game. They were up like 5-0 in the fifth inning and then
Yeah.
imploded. But you know what? It's the first time we were there in like 15 years, so that was cool.
Yep.
Huge Jets fan. I mean, that's a 10x bigger disappointment. Rogers, man, what a freaking clown, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
He's the worst, man.
He
I mean,
folded, bro.
so
Hey.
much, so many false promises with him. I mean, I can't believe how badly he botched it. And then honestly though, Woody Johnson firing the coach in like week three was so stupid because they put
Oh
all the
yeah.
pressure on the defensive coordinator. Their defense is now horrible. I mean, calamity on every level. It's embarrassing to even admit. And Giants are a completely separate embarrassments. And New York sports, not New York sports football, not big. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, I've been disappointed for years with the Cowboys, so it's
Oh, you're a
I
Cowboys
sure.
fan. Ooh,
Oh,
that's good, man. That's tough there.
man,
Yeah.
I was born and raised. I used to watch the games with my dad, and so it's
Oh wow! I mean, that
yeah.
was probably fun. Aikman years, they were
Oh,
good.
Aikman years. I mean, it's the whole entire '90s was really good for the
That
Cowboys,
was the
right? And then
glory era. Yeah,
we hit the 2000s, and it left us right. Then Romo was okay.
Rory
Dak
reflects the promise. Dak is like, he's
Dak, oh man, he's folding under pressure, man,
he
and it
does.
happens every time. Every time we have an important game, every time in the playoffs, man, he gets us there, and it's good. But man, once that pressure hits him, man, it's like he can't deliver.
He can't deliver at all.
He
Now
can't
he's hitting
deliver. But
years.
evidently, Mr. Jones thinks differently that he got the highest freaking contract
Can you
for an
believe
NFL
that, man?
quarterback.
Daniel Jones. It's like these guys. They don't do anything, and it's like hitting the lottery. It's amazing, honestly.
Oh, it's absolutely insane, man. It's absolutely insane, man. I think the only way we can get out of this is trade him out, but I'm
Yeah,
not sure if we'll be able to do that. And
probably definitely not.
there ain't no way, man. Like you
Yeah,
don't spend that much money on somebody and then have to
exactly.
pay out that
Go
guarantee and then
fire the
trade them.
coach. They'll fire the coach, and
Well, they
then
did.
did they fire McCarthy?
Yeah,
When did they do this?
they
Like this week?
fired him. Yeah, I just saw like they yeah. They no legit like fired him, right?
Like
Uh,
this is today?
no, hold on. Uh,
Wow, I think it was today. Amazing. Wow.
yeah,
Well,
already linked
that's
to another team. Yeah, and
that.
so like
Wow. Wow.
it's
Good on
crazy, man.
that. As the
It's
Cowboys are folding while we're on this call, that's pretty amazing. Um, I think Deion Sanders or Bill Belichick should be the next person out there.
you know who else got put up there, but they will not. That by any means will they be able to do it because they're an owner now. Tom
Yeah.
Brady got put into the
Oh,
mix for
yeah.
coaching,
Yeah. He needs to
but
try
since
to
he's
get
an owner, he's a
and it,
minority owner, but he's still an owner.
and he's an aspiring announcer, and he's not so good yet. A little awkward and clunky, but we'll see where that
Oh
goes.
man, he has that freaking weird,
It's like a
quirk that he
robot.
does.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Not
so
great.
I mean, he's just some people are made for announcing and they're fantastic at it. He's just not one of them, right? Like,
Not one of them,
I
man. Greg
mean,
Olson's
he
much
was a
better.
last pick NFL, became one of the most legendary
Yeah.
quarterbacks, and that's kind of where he needs to stay at,
And
right?
honestly, his career, you could take a lot of good business lessons from his career too, and just like just the will to just like fight hard, have it. I
Oh
think having
yeah.
a chip on your shoulder, and like I'm literally watching The Last Dance right now, the Michael Jordan documentary.
Mm-hmm.
He just make stuff up in his mind to fuel himself, which is just like, you hold this chip on your shoulder, always like someone's coming at you. It's
Mm-hmm.
maintain that competitive edge. At the end of the day, like someone out there in the world is working harder than you. They're
Absolutely.
staying up later than you. They're going to steal your next client. They're going to beat you unless you outwork them. And I'm a huge believer in like there's never a substitute for hard work.
Absolutely.
You can control so many things in your life. You can't control a lot of things in your life. The main thing you can control is your effort, and
Absolutely.
you just show up and work so hard, like something good. And that could be in your job, a business, your relationships. Just try, man, and you'll get somewhere eventually.
Absolutely, man. I love how Mark Cuban put it, right? It's like business is the most competitive sport in the world, right? It's somebody's trying to kick your butt
Oh,
24/7 and they're coming after you no matter what.
no matter what,
And
exactly.
so,
And it's
man,
getting, man,
yeah,
we're competing against, I mean, kids in their basement in,
so true, man.
Uzbekistan and South Mexico and Africa and Florida. I mean, it's great. Honestly, technology and the internet has been like the great equalizer. And then
Hmm.
AI is just going to take that to the next level. So, gotta buckle up.
Absolutely. The one thing that I'm bullish on, right, is just the opportunity and the level playing field, not only but here in America, right? Like
Exactly.
taking America as its own, and how competitive we can be, right? And then what this may look like over the next few years as well is just being able to really
Crazy.
compete at a level that we weren't able to before, right? It's bringing,
That's
maybe bringing manufacturing back to the United States, right? Opening opportunity for the organization to be able to do stuff without having to try to meet regulatory requirements in other countries that they don't have the money to do, right? They may have the money to fulfill an order, but they don't have the money to be compliant for that order, right? And so like, there's a big issue there, and so I think it's going to level the playing field. We're going to create new opportunities there, but that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for the American entrepreneur, the American opportunity for entrepreneurship.
I think it's going to be, I think one of the most immediate areas we'll see disruption in is going to be in the software SaaS world.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
think of how good these programs are at writing clean code. That's been like the biggest barrier to entry. You want to come up with some
Mm-hmm.
cool software product. It's like, oh, I have to hire a developer and pay him tens of thousands of dollars, and maybe
Right.
it won't be a buggy piece of shit app, and maybe it'll work, and then I have to worry about marketing. That's gone now. You can literally write a prompt, and in 10 seconds later, have some workable code that you could throw a website on and a platform and start going. So like I'm actually the most excited for that in the next 2 years is how the SaaS and software space just kind of
Absolutely.
new phase. I mean, you could have like a 15-year-old come up with some genius idea, throw it into OpenAI, spit some code out, wrap it in, a nice UI, and it's like, boom, this thing could take off, and all these companies can use it. And so I think I think it's going to be interesting, honestly. Like enterprise software contracts will go down significantly. There'll just be the whole market will be flooded with these like SaaS clones, essentially. That will be good, and it's
Yeah.
like people won't want to pay as much. So that's going
I
to be like
think. My honest belief is I'm not bullish, but I'm not bearish on it, right? So I think
Yeah.
we're going to, my honest opinion is it's almost in the no code website phase, right? Where you saw a
Yeah,
bunch of
exactly.
crap.
Like the Wix,
Oh, the
Square
Wix, and like you
world.
just saw the worst
Yeah.
of the worst of the internet come to
Yeah.
life, you know,
Yep.
and it happened for a solid 5 to 8 years before you're like, this crap
Totally.
has to go. I mean,
That's,
I'm even privy to, very unfortunately, at building crappy websites on these platforms as
I
well.
know, man. It's so easy.
But
Yep.
I think we're gonna go through that craze where people are gonna start building these products, right? There's gonna be a bunch of data breaches in those products because they don't know how to secure anything.
Not at all.
Nothing's gonna be
Security
encrypted. Everything's gonna be like plain text.
100%. Yep. Yep.
And
Exactly.
then we're gonna see those guys drop off because they can't sell SaaS, right? It's like they understood how to prompt, and then they paid somebody to put it on the internet for them, and then that was like the extent of knowledge.
Exactly.
And then that's going to drop off, and then we will see the ones that are building some real products that actually help build something for an industry, right? And then I think they're
100%.
there. I think there's some now, but I think we're in the very, like you said, the very
It's just
beginning
all like you said,
stages.
man. It's all like super niche, like really
100%.
weird use cases that no one's even thinking about.
Yep.
I mean, like, just stuff that like a PDF scanner, just really like tiny ideas that like, that you can build a SaaS on and sell it for $5 a month and get, 10,000 users and that's it. That's all you need.
Man, I'll tell you this, man. With Claude, I think one of the best things that they introduced was artifacts.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things ever to be able to like visualize with the code that you just wrote, right? Which is like
Right.
completely up from OpenAI, where you actually have to go take that code and throw
Yeah.
it into like a local server or something to actually see the product. But to be able to
Exactly.
visualize the product in screen and then look
So
at that
cool.
and go, okay, let me iterate. This is what in I think 2.5 hours. I was looking at a bunch of logs, right? So from
Yeah.
Microsoft logs, and I was like, this sucks. Right, this sucks. I know a bunch of other people looking at logs like there's nothing worse than looking at an
Yeah.
XML, nothing
It's
worse than
true.
looking at a JSON file, and then
It's
putting
horrible.
those side by side inside of a text file that doesn't render it correctly is the absolute
Oh,
worst.
it's like a
And so
terrible fix. Yeah, it's
I
horrible.
literally built in 2.5 hours an online log parser that you can upload multiple formats of that log, and it will format everything for you, and then you can switch between the log formats, and then it will spit out the anomalies.
No, how do I sign up, man? How much are you charging for that? That's a little
Like,
bit like that's so cool. Like you just proved the use that the whole notion out where it's like, and like if people want to come up with ideas, just like look at your daily life. What do you
mm-hmm,
do in your daily life that you struggle with? Like, and then just come up with a software solution for it, and then literally
that's it.
put a website on it and sell it for a few bucks, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah,
I think we're. I think where I'm going to go for like honest entertainment is Flippa.
yeah, dude.
Flippa.
Oh
That's
man, there's so much crap on there already. It's like, yeah, if you go to Flippa and put the revenue filter below like $500, oh my God, it's just unbelievable amounts of crap. But
oh
there
yeah.
is like that's actually something I've entertained in the past that I probably will in the future is micro SaaS flipping.
Oh
You have this
yeah.
idea, you just build a site in SaaS, get it to like 10, 20 users, and then just flip it for even if your profit's a few $1,000s, you could just do that like a few times a month easily.
Oh
And
yeah.
AI, well, you can spit out. I mean, you can get to the point where you can literally come up with like 100 products or even 50, market them at
Yeah.
the same time for very cheap. See which one's getting most traction, and like there are ways that you can kind of branch this out and come
Man,
up with winners.
I've seen
It's really,
some of the worst valuations on that platform than even Shark Tank.
oh,
Like,
dude, crazy.
like they're like five hundred
People are
dollars a month, and I
just,
want 30,000. I'm like, bro,
yeah, it's like
there is
what? Dude?
no way that's
I could
happening,
recreate this in like 10 minutes. You idiot. Yeah, it's crazy. Huh?
man.
Crazy.
So
Yeah, I agree.
kind of moving back into like what you do. Like, so let's take out the business, take out the entrepreneur inside of you, man. Like what do you do outside of this? How do you disconnect?
Hiking. Love hiking.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, man, I'm a huge. I live in Hudson Valley in New York. We're like
Yeah.
30 minutes north of New York City. A lot of beautiful hiking up here and trails and wildlife. And I mean, that's the best, honestly. Just to like leave your phone in the car or put it on airplane mode
Hmm.
and get lost in the woods for a little bit. It just makes you feel kind of primitive and human.
Absolutely.
become so interconnected and so dependent on technology and our phones, and like it's not really how humans were meant to live. And just being able to be outside and breathe in air and look at the sun, guaranteed to get a little happier. Studies have shown just being in nature and sunlight, you just
Mm-hmm.
get a dopamine bump. It's the most natural way to kind of change your mood is to just get away from your phone, honestly. So I love like working super hard and then just disconnecting for a day or two. Nothing better than that, honestly. So I would say that's probably my favorite thing to do.
That's awesome. Another guy we had on the podcast, his name was Tyrone Hazen, founder of Puff and Drinkware. These little
Nice.
guys,
Let me see those.
they're
Wow.
like koozies, they're like little
Oh, that's
koozies, but
awesome.
it's like drinkware. And you gotta check
That's
them out.
cool.
Puff and Drinkware, yeah,
I
Puff
love
and
it.
Wear. And they have some
Cool.
cool stuff on there. They're doing some awesome stuff, partnerships right now. I mean, you gotta check them out. But
Yeah,
he
that's
lives in Bend, Oregon.
so
And
nice,
man,
man.
and
Big
that's one
fan,
of his
yeah.
favorite things to do is to be able to go hike and hang out. And like he's a super outdoors
Oregon.
guy.
Yeah.
That's where Hydro Flask is located as well. Is Bend,
Damn.
Oregon, right across the street from their headquarters actually. And so,
Wow. Oregon's
um,
it's one of
yeah.
the preeminent hiking spots. And I think Crater Lake is up there. It's amazing up there, honestly. The Pacific Northwest is like the best of the best.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, man.
So
Uh, that's really cool. So, if you said you're in New York, right? Right now?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where at New York?
So a little town, a little river town called Nyack, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, right on the Hudson, about a 30-minute drive from Manhattan. It's
Oh,
nice,
beautiful.
man. Yeah, we got trails here and woods, deers kind of walking through the lawn, every day. So
Awesome.
it's nice up here, man. It's a good change of pace.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got family in Jersey in Manhattan.
Oh,
And
nice.
so,
Yeah,
yes,
it's
and then
nice up
I
here.
know a few people out on Long Island as well. But one of my
Grew up
favorite
there.
areas. I
Yeah.
used to live in Vermont. I
Oh,
lived there
where
for
at? I was just in Stowe and
no way. Okay,
Arlington. Yeah,
Burlington. Yeah, the largest is. I'm guessing it's still the largest city in Vermont, right?
it is.
So I was in Heartland, Four Corners.
Okay.
I don't know if you know where that is. So where am I?
Give me
Stowe.
that.
So it's probably about a 20. Nah, probably about 35, 40 minute drive to Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Super
Okay.
small town.
Yeah.
Not too far. I was about a couple hours away from Stowe, probably.
Like
Uh,
south, right?
yeah, it's south. Yeah, exactly. It's south.
Is that near Brattleboro?
Yes, it is.
I was just there like a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So
Coincidentally.
I
Yeah.
love I love New Hampshire. One of my favorite places, honestly, is in Vermont, but I love New Hampshire. Is Hanover, New Hampshire. It's like one of the most
Really?
picture perfect town right
Holy
there. Like the
crazy, right?
entire man, it's like a Christmas freaking
Oh,
Hallmark card.
I love that stuff, man. I
Man,
love
like
the Main Street towns where
Main
it's like,
Street is sick,
all the stores. Yeah, I love that, man. It's
bro.
the
Main
best.
Street is sick.
Best
Like
Main
go down
Street
to
I've
the
ever been in. Big Bear in California. It's the best Main Street.
oh
And no
Big
one's
Bear.
heard of
That
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go back to California. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of boycotted them for a little bit because they have some weird crap going on over there.
Got a lot going
And
on there. You stay
so I
away from
was
San
like,
Francisco, man. Stay away from like the meat packing or tenderloin district in San Francisco. You'll be
the
fine.
Tenderloin. And
Philadelphia,
so, yeah,
yeah.
man, I think it's just been, yeah. So I've kind of boycotted a little bit. I need to go back there because I really liked it. I used to go up to like Sacramento and stuff a lot, and then
Yeah, dude, NorCal's
yeah,
amazing.
NorCal sick. I used to work in NorCal up there by Oakland
Oh,
a
nice,
long time ago, back in like I was like 18, 19 years old.
nice, man. Check it
But
out.
yeah,
Yeah,
so one of the best places I like about Hanover, man, looking down north on Main Street in the winter, man, is just
oh, that
nothing but
sounds so good.
picturesque. And then you have Dartmouth College right in the background.
Oh, that's right there. Okay, and is that
Sick.
Ivy League, Dartmouth?
Oh heck yeah.
French Ivy Leagues? Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Heck yeah, man. They have a huge I want to say medical. I think they're really big in medical. I
Oh
think.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome,
maybe.
man.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You can't quote me on
honestly,
that one.
man, New England's great. I went to Cape Cod my first time.
Ooh,
Actually, crazy experience this summer. So go to Cape Cod, Nasset Beach, and like with literally, this is like as I've learned. So I said, I'm obsessed with wildlife. It's a great white capital of the world. Actually, is Cape Cod.
wow.
Shockingly enough, within 10 minutes of going to this beach, literally, bro, I'm about to like go in the water just for like a quick dip. Freaking great white attacks a seal like 20 yards from shore.
That is
Craziest thing I've ever
nuts.
seen. I was like, okay, I'm not going in that water right now. Yeah, dude, these colonies of seals just chill, like literally 10 feet from like the shoreline. It tracks like 15-foot great whites, and they just fucking breach the water and eat them. Families are having picnics there, running with their kids, and you've got like this gigantic Jaws type creature just mauling. There's blood everywhere. It was like out of a movie, honestly. Um,
That is crazy, man.
yeah, so if you like
Holy
sharks,
crap.
you want to view them from a safe distance, gotta get to Cape Cod.
Ah, Cape Cod's going on the list then.
Yeah, man, get on
Absolutely.
it. Um,
Man,
sure.
man, look, this has been awesome talking to you and being able to
Yeah,
kind of dive deep into what you've been doing and how
sure.
Growtoro came about, your entrepreneurial experience, and some of the roots that you came from as well.
Yeah,
This is what we love to hear, what our audience loves to hear as well. But I have two questions for you. All right, so
yeah.
first one is, what advice do you have to the person that is trying to jump into entrepreneurship but doesn't know when the right time is?
So two answers for that. Take baby steps and try a bunch of different things. And
Hmm.
you can do both at the same time. So sit down, open a Google spreadsheet, come up, or better yet, go to OpenAI and prompt something and just come up with like a list of things that you love that you can like sink a lot of time into without getting bored and
Hmm.
irritated. And then come up with like your first 100-day plan, come up with like an expense roadmap, and then just like dive in. So you can do all this with a grueling 9 to 7 job. You could do this during the day, you could do it on the weekends, at night. I would say just like literally don't overthink it. Just come up with something that you're passionate about, and then just dive in. It's just
That's
all about
awesome.
diving in and not overthinking. I think that's the main reason people don't do
Hmm.
stuff. They psych themselves out and they think of so many reasons not to do it, and
Hmm.
they assume they're going to fail. They come up with reasons why they're going to fail. They stress themselves out when like none of that's actually going to happen. And if you just tried, you'll learn. My advice is just go for it, and
Hmm.
you'll learn a lot about yourself along the way, which is
Absolutely.
just as important as making a successful business.
Awesome. And now, second question is, what advice do you have to the entrepreneur that's more seasoned, but that's hitting some of these growth challenges? Like what would you say to
Network.
them?
I would say network, meet people who are great at things you're not good at, learn from them, and then just get new skills. Essentially, like I have a lot of friends too who are very successful in their own businesses and corporate life, and yeah, they hit walls and plateaus. And I think you have to become more well-rounded. So if there's like a skill that you don't have that you're lacking, like learn that skill. If there's a community that you want to crack into that can really elevate your status, get you to the next level, like find your way into that community.
Hmm.
So, and it's you could do this off from your desk. I mean, you could set up a cold email campaign and email your potential mentor or people you want to learn from. You can use Grotoro's help for that, by the way.
Hmm.
Uh, and I'm just getting a little shill there.
I love it, man.
But yeah, like you just got to talk to more and more people, learn more stuff, make it a habit to learn stuff you're not good at. I think once, like cheesy quote, but once you get outside your comfort zone, that's when you really grow. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
If you're static and you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're not growing. That's why you're not growing. Is like you're not challenging yourself. You're not falling on your face
Hmm.
enough. If you're not in and mental anguish, you're not trying hard enough. Essentially.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that, man. I know our audience is going to appreciate this as well. Brendan,
Sure.
thank you. This has been fantastic. I really
Of course.
appreciate the time. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Pumped for everyone to see this, and yeah, good luck in everyone's journey. Happy to
awesome,
help.
man. Appreciate it.